Hey everyone, you join me on the formation lap at Le Mans for my very first ever online race at the Circuit de la Sarthe, and we're just coming through the final chicane here. I think there's already a car off to the left hand side. There might be another one off just up ahead. A huge concertina there. We make contact, thankfully only a 0x. Hopefully I'm not carrying significant damage. That was with Steven Barkovic just up the road there. I fear he might be carrying some significant damage there, but we'll see what happens as we get into lap 1 here. We're going to try around the outside of Barkovic because he was very cautious on the brakes there. I wonder if he's carrying significant rear wing damage, but we're now just trying to focus on getting downhill and through these S's on the opening lap. Tyre pressures not where they need to be, tyre temperatures not where they need to be either, so I've got to be careful that I don't lose the car through some of these opening corners here, taking it a little bit cautious through the right hander, but actually looked up ahead there. Barkovic was on the brakes mid-corner. You do not want to be doing that. It costs you speed all the way down this huge back straight here. We're alongside Barkovic now. He will be benefiting hugely from Jesus Bermudez's tow though, so is he going to be able to stick it out alongside me here? We may end up running side by side through the first chicane here. We're coming into the braking zone very soon. I'm going to try and be braver, and later on the brakes you can see he was a nose ahead as we got towards the braking zone, but I carried the high ground and I'm up another position there. Then we get past Barkovic safely and I'm now right on the rear wing of Bermudez up ahead, and it's going to be my turn to get his toe down this second enormous straight. And this whole race session really is a learning experience for me. I've lapped here before, I've never driven competitively online, and so I'm just getting used to what it's like to be going at these high speeds towards big braking zones with other traffic around me. You can see there, I just gave myself plenty of margin. I gave myself a little bit of course time into the corner, prioritised a good exit, and actually that looks as if it's paid off here. I'm right underneath the rear wing of Bermudez as we get ready for the right hand kink at the end of this straight. I'm going to peel to the inside. This is going to be pretty tight through here. I'm going to hope that he gives me space as we get towards the curbing on the inside. Here we go. Will he turn in? No, we're just far enough alongside and ahead. I've now got to get the anchors on, get the car slowed down into the apex and get a nice clean exit, and that is another position gained. But before we review those overtakes, let's take a look at those formation lap incidents. Firstly, Nathan Cowell spins out, just lights up the rear tyres, and then Drew Fletcher would make the same mistake, and this is what caused that congestion that meant I ran into the back of the driver up ahead of me, thankfully getting away with just minimal damage. But that could have been a really significant incident. Here's the first overtake then. As we get through the first chicane, that was relatively comfortable in the end. I had a very good overlap heading into the braking zone, and then a bit of a riskier one through this very fast right hand kink. We're just able to squeeze past, and actually Bermudez loses another position to the driver behind. We rejoin the live action then, still on lap 1, and I'm just about in touch with the pack of cars up ahead. That's Drew Fletcher, who had that formation lap incident. Then we've got Attila Kode just up ahead of him as we get into another heavy braking zone here. Try and get as good an exit as possible, maximise that speed down the next straight, and really there's not big gaps between any of us at this stage of the race. Yanis Roda is now the driver behind me. He's the number 1 car, so I'm expecting to come under some pressure pretty quickly from him as we get into the rest of this race. But look up ahead, there's going to be a big incident as Costa comes together with Huppatz. That's Huppatz off to the right hand side there, and that is another leading driver out of this race. That looked as if it was an optimistic move from Costa to get down his inside. Costa's still running there, he's up in P4. There may be more gains to be made here as I come as close as you can to getting a slowdown penalty without actually getting one there through the left-hander. And we're under pressure here from Roda behind. Thankfully we've kept within half a second of Fletcher just up ahead. We need a nice tidy line through the double chicane, and that will be our first competitive online racing lap here at Le Mans, and it has been action packed, but we've made some decent gains. Let's quickly take a look at this move from Costa as he just tries to squeeze into a space that was never really going to be there. Huppatz ends up off track. Costa continues, but perhaps with damage as we get on to lap 2. I'm now running in P7 in this race so far. Fletcher challenging Code up ahead, and we've got Rhoda very much in attention behind. He is just 0.3 seconds back, and it does look as if he's got more pace than me and probably quite a number of the drivers up ahead, and this is going to raise some question marks here. I don't want to get stuck into a pointless fight and then lose the slipstream from other drivers. It's critical really that you stay in touch with drivers up ahead of you on this circuit, otherwise you're going to be giving away potential lap time every lap around. So we're into the braking zone again. That's what's on my mind here, as we're just going to snake the car through the left and then the right, try and get good traction on the exit. But I'm going to pop the TV camera up because you can see from Rhoda's on board, he is absolutely all over the rear end of my car here. He looks as if he's going to try a move down the inside, is he? Just as I did to Bermudez on the previous lap. Is he going to shape there to get down my inside? I'm not going to close it off, but there he goes. He's just about got an overlap here. He keeps it nice and tight to the inside. I'm just able to carry enough speed around the outside to hold position for now, but I really don't want to get involved in an extended battle if I can avoid it here. So we're just going to see how this plays out through the remainder of the lap, because already you can see that dropped me a few tenths of a second back from Drew Fletcher, and that could be critical in terms of where we finish in this race come the checkered flag. And once again, Rhoda gaining, but he's not going to be able to get alongside through this section of track. It's just too fast. There's not a big enough braking zone that you can really mount an overtake unless someone makes a big mistake. Thankfully, the guys up ahead are all taking time off each other here as we get into the tight right hand. And another incident. There's been a slide that looks like João Costa, and there's huge collisions there. A number of drivers running into each other. I managed to just react in time, get around the right hand side of that incident. It has put me under huge pressure now from Yanis Rhoda. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hold this position here. We are side by side. I could choose to put him around the outside, but I'm actually just going to bleed off the throttle, not waste any more time, and hope I can follow him around the rest of this lap. But look at this. That's João Costa's mistake. He just lights up the tyres on the curb. Look at how many other drivers end up unsighted, ploughing into that accident on the exit of the corner. Oh, and look at that. Fletcher, who we were following closely, just gets tagged as Costa rolled forward on track. What a mess. On to lap 3 then. We're approaching half race distance here, and look up ahead. Rhoda is side by side with Attila Code, looking to make another pass. I've been able to keep in touch with both drivers though, benefiting from the slipstream being pulled along by the quicker driver. So I think letting Rhoda go on the previous lap was certainly the right decision, rather than costing myself time fighting the inevitable. It's managed to put me on the rear wing of Attila Code up ahead. We're in P6 right now. That could turn into P5 pretty quickly here, as it does look as if I'm benefiting from the slipstream. I'm closing in. It's not going to be enough though to get alongside into this right-hander. I take the view that it's not worth the lunge down the inside into the heavy braking zone there. We live to fight another day. My aim is just to keep in close enough contact until later on in the lap, and we've been able to do that as we fast forward towards the third sector of this lap here. We're still right underneath the rear wing of Code, putting pressure on. I do want to clear him though quite quickly, so that we can stick with Yanis Rhoda, and hopefully he can pull us even further forward, maybe even towards the podium positions here as we get towards the final section of this race. Here we go then into the very tricky section of curves towards the end of the lap. You've got to try and carry as much speed as you can, and I'm trying to push Code into a mistake here that will allow me to get a run into the final chicane. Let's see if I'm going to be able to do it as we hug nicely to the curb there. Oh, we're going to run wide though, not as wide as Code. Has he gotten a slowdown penalty there? It looked as if he was all the way off the track, and he is slowing down. Look at that, he's going to give me the position. He knows he has to spend that slowdown penalty, and that has allowed me then up into P5 in this race, and it keeps getting better and better and better I ran wide there too. I definitely got a bit lucky not to also pick up a penalty, but thankfully we got through cleanly. I'm up then into P5. Can I get back onto the rear wing of Roda? Well, unfortunately I couldn't, but Roda was able to pass Andre Van Hoyen up ahead, so I'm now going to be fighting for P4 on the final lap of this race. I say fighting, we've got about a second of a gap to make up, but I have been closing it in over the course of the last lap. I do think I've got more underlying speed, but have I left it a little bit too late to grab one more position in this race? I am already overperforming my iRating in this session so far, and again, without labouring the point, this is my first online race here, so right now in the cockpit I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm not going to throw it all away with a lunge or a reckless move, but if the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to try and get myself up into P4, because you never know, 2 further positions up the road, there's a big fight going on between Valentin Blanc and Yannis Roda, so any extra positions I could get, that could turn into a podium before the end of the race. I was much faster through the exit onto the back straight there. You can see the gap to Andre van der Hoyen up ahead is coming down. It's now half a second. We've gained half a second on this lap so far already. I'm going to try and be as aggressive as I can on the brakes here to get some more time gained as we get into the first chicane. Not close enough to make a move, but certainly close enough to line up a better exit from this corner, tuck in nicely under the rear wing, and hopefully be able to make a move into the second chicane. We're not necessarily as close as I'd like to have been. I'm going to have to make some gains in the slipstream here to make this a risk worth taking. We are closing in. I can't see the braking markers on the right hand side. I'm coming to the outside to just get a sense of where I am on track, and I commit to the move. I'm going to make a lunge down the inside here, get an overlap, and then hopefully the brakes will help me out on the apex. Yes, we're just able to slow the car down. In fairness, Van Hoyen didn't fight it too hard around the outside, but that was fantastic action, and we're up into P4 on the last lap of this race. Side by side then into the braking zone. As soon as I had the inside line and an overlap, that gave me the high ground. Van Hoyen didn't fight it too hard, and ultimately that would be the last position I could gain through this race. We just brought it home nice and safely, and I'm going to come home in P4, and that is a fantastic finish. It's going to give me a very nice bump to my iRating. It's going to give me a critical bump to my safety rating, because that had taken a hit in earlier races this season. And what a fantastic experience it was to race online at Le Mans. And I'm really slowly but surely getting to grips with this new McLaren. Got a really strong start to this new iRacing season. Last time out we were at Monza, and it was one of the most dramatic sessions I've ever had. Check it out on screen now.